the attendance has exceeded our expectations, so thank you all so much for coming. This is my part is gonna be brief. The city really wanted to start letting people know about the different boards and committees and commissions that are in Asbury Park and what they do. So when you have a dying tree, you contact the Shade Tree Commission. When you want to add a bathroom to your house, you contact the zoning board. When you want garbage cans on your street or better lighting, you contact Quality of Life. So the city has 17 boards. You're going to hear only for a minute or two from about all of them. And our goal really for this is a couple of things. One, get everybody up to speed on these boards and the extremely dedicated volunteers who put in anywhere from an hour a month to 30 or 40 hours a week on these boards. And to ask people to start coming out to these meetings and think about, joining some of these boards. So we don't have massive openings on these boards, but most of them have one or two that we're really looking for some new blood, and we're really looking for some diversity on these boards as well. So we're asking everybody to consider coming out to some of these meetings. You're going to hear when they meet. And if it's a fit for you, to fill out an application, submit it to the city. We'll take you through that process, which is extremely easy, and consider getting on and volunteering for one of these boards. So that is, I think, ahead.
So just to let you know, all these boards are open to the public. So you can visit any one of these boards and spend some time there. Talk to some people that are on the boards already if you think you might be interested. But they're all open. They're all open to the public. So there's no boards that meet in private. They're open to the public. You should all be there. It's your opportunity to have your voices heard on behalf of the city.
So the first speaker is going to be Michael. He's going to describe to you, so these boards not only do different things, but have different powers, right? So Michael's going to describe to you a little bit about what's the difference between a board, committee, and commission or authority, say the Housing Authority, and then we will get into the speakers for the individual boards, okay? Thank you again so much for coming out.
Thank you all for coming out tonight. I do have a chest cold, so if I start coughing uncontrollably, just move out of the way a little bit. You guys and everyone who's interested are a vital cog in what is the Asbury, no picture, a cog in what happens here within the city. Statutorily, what happens is Asbury Park is what's called a creature of the state. We are only because the state allows us to be by state statute. If the state said, Asbury Park, we don't want you here anymore, they can pass a law, Asbury Park disappears. Boards, commissions, committees, and authorities are creatures of a municipality. So we create, from the government side, a budget committee, a planning board, a zoning board. Some are statutorily required. Planning and zoning is, but you can have a joint board with not getting too technical. But there are some that are required by law, but a lot of these boards and commissions are there to meet the needs of the municipality that they serve. So really, what is the difference between a board, a commission, a committee, or an authority? An authority is the most important thing, most powerful type of independent body there is. There's no authorities in Asbury Park. Boards and commissions have a lot of the same powers. The biggest power that they have is that they have the ability to spend money if there's a budget allocation. So again, here, if the city government, the town government, anywhere in the state, if they say, planning board, you get $30,000 a year to spend, planning board can spend $30,000 a year on whatever they deem fit legally. That means they still have to follow the public contracts law, the fiscal affairs law, but they actually get money to spend. That's boards, that's a commission. Committee is a more advisory in nature. Still very important, still very powerful, but they are advisory in nature. So like, for example, I sit on the budget committee. The budget committee advises the council on certain things that they should or should not be doing, or investigating aspects of what the municipal budget is. The housing authority is an authority that was created years ago, which is independent of the city. They're not here tonight, so that's why I'm mentioning them. That is in charge with furthering affordable housing and housing stock within the city. Boston Way. They manage housing and housing throughout the city. So as an independent agency, boards and commissions are independent. The governing body, myself, staff, have no influence, or should have no influence, over a decision that the zoning board makes, the planning board makes, that the Environmental Shade Tree Commission does, the Library Board of Trustees. These are all independent from what we do on the day-to-day operations of the municipality. Committees, it's more advisory. So it's more of a working relationship, give and take. At the end of the day, what is most important, which no one ever really understands, you are actually, and if you're on a board, commission, committee, you're actually an employee of the city of Asbury Park. You are covered by workers' comp insurance, you are covered by general liability insurance. You can be sued personally, you can be sued in your official capacity as a board or commission or a volunteer. We provide you that insurance coverage, so don't freak out and start quitting because it's hard to get people to come to these things. But there's numerous case law that actually says you are employees. You're not getting pensions, so don't ask me. You're not getting any health benefits, I will not sign off on those. But you do get insurance coverage at the end of the day. You are covered in your official capacity. You're also governed by the local ethics law. You're governed by the local fiscal affairs law, the budget law, any law that pertains to us, the council members, pass it down to you. So there is a large responsibility of what happens at the end of the day. So how do we actually meet these things? In the city for many, many years, there was a lack of training, there was a lack of education of rules, regulations. The state dictates some. Planning and zoning board members have to go to a class before they can actually serve. So last year, for those of you who attended, the city clerk did a session on OPMA and OPRA, Open Public Meetings Act, Open Public Records Act. That pertains to you. If you're a board or a commission, you have to take minutes. You cannot act without a quorum. You have to notify of a meeting, which is 4 days in advance of the newspaper. You're supposed to supply them with information that you're having a meeting. You're supposed to post it at City Hall, and the clerk will help you with those things, as I help boards and commissions and committees with spending. We're here to help and further what your goals and objectives are within the statutes. So at the end of the day, you are employees. You are very, very important. You're very, very powerful. For on the budget committee, what we did last year was we reviewed operations and we reviewed aggregation, which a lot of people get wrong. It was a lot of education. We looked at our debt. We looked at where the debt's going to be, what we can afford and what we can't afford. For example, we worked incredibly close with Tom Kavinsky with the Shade Tree Commission because they want to buy a tree. Well, you're not going to put it in the back of a hatchback, you're going to use a DPW truck. So we do work together on everything that we do, and if there's questions, you ask. Volunteers are the lifeblood of every municipality in the state. And I've worked in 4 municipalities in New Jersey and 2 in Pennsylvania. And the amount of energy and enthusiasm of Asbury Park volunteers, off the charts. You guys do a wonderful job of coming out, and a wonderful job of being involved, and a wonderful job of improving the city and municipality. I myself am on 4 of these boards and commissions. Chair of the Green Team, Wesley Lake, Sunset Lake Commissioner, and the Budget Committee. And I see the dedication that actually happens day in and day out to make this city better. For that, as city manager, I thank you because it does make my job a lot easier. So as we move forward with what we're doing for tonight, as we move into the next year, the council has asked we need to do these things more often. We need to have diversity in what we're actually going to be educating people on and how we can get more people involved and more people informed in what we do. We're a $50 million operation, $17 million I think is taxes, which means there's a lot of grants, there's lots of permits. We are incredibly busy. Just 2 days ago, the fire department, which also runs first aid, hit last year's total in calls for service, with a month left to go in the end of the year. We've had 467 OPA requests for public documents, which is 1.5 requests a day. We are incredibly busy, and we couldn't do a lot of our things that we do without you. So with that, I don't know who's next. I think it's you, Barbara? She didn't want to follow me, so I'm going to make this awesome. So with that, is Barbara doing planning? Planning. Thank you.
That's what I get for not wanting to follow in. I'm Barbara Krizak. I'm the chair of the planning board. We, as the planning board, are the authors of the Asbury Park Master Plan. It provides the blueprint of all the land use laws within the city for 10 years at a time. So we have to reevaluate the master plan every 10 years. The master plan addresses the manner and locations of which development, redevelopment, conservation, and preservation occur in the municipality. The planning board reviews, as part of that, all of the large-scale projects within the city, anything being built in the redevelopment areas, any variances to the code that has been determined, as well as any subdivisions that are done anywhere within the municipality. As a result of this master plan that we create, there are ordinances that are created on top of that so that there's guidance for any of this redevelopment that we do, any of the variances that are being requested. So anytime anyone needs a variance to any of the codes that have been created, they have to come to the planning board, and the planning board members have to weigh whether or not the variance that is being requested is within reason, is it for the betterment of the city or not, and maybe there are some contingencies or some tweaks that we have to make on anything that's requested. So, and then that goes into a resolution that's created by the planning board and voted upon to agree to, and then the applicants have to adhere to those decisions. Currently we have 11 openings, not 11 openings, we have 11 people that are on the planning board. 9 of them are permanent and for their 2-year term, and there's 2 alternates that are on the planning board. We meet roughly every 2 Mondays out of the month, usually two a month, and the meetings last from 7 to 10 perhaps, and sometimes 10:30 if anybody was there on Monday. So it depends on the agenda. We try to get in as much as we possibly can, obviously, within reason, just so that you have some idea of what kind of work we're talking about. We're talking about that the documentation that we get for any application or anything having to do with the agenda, we get that on Thursday for the next Monday's meeting. So by Thursday night, Thursday end of day, our planning office, our planning secretary, provide us with the agenda and all of the documentation via email. We take a look at that documentation, so essentially we have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and Monday to take a look at that information. So yes, we do work the weekend, and so that we're well versed, we ask that everybody review it and is well versed in asking questions and checking out the viability of what's being said. Within that documentation are various site plans, there are parking plans, there are lighting plans, there's stormwater management plans, there's landscaping plans. So you have to look at all of this, as well as we have some professionals that give us added information. We have a planning engineer. We have a planning board engineering firm that gives us information and recommendations based on that, and a planner that is not associated with the city, but it is the planning board's planner. So they give us information, we take a look at it, we come on Monday ready with questions to be asked, and the thing that I really ask is that for anyone that wants to be on the planning board is that you understand what kind of work it is, and it's serious, and it's something that really impacts the future of this city. It really drives the future of the city, any kind of development within here, and that's what we do. And we need people that want to be present, that are available to come, that will read the material and ask questions and listen, because there's a lot of listening. Because we listen to all the professionals that have something to say, and we also listen to the public. And I was so proud to see how many people came out last Monday to talk about one of our agenda items having to do with affordable housing. And I personally thank them for coming, because you know what? We need you to come to these meetings. We need to hear what you have to say so that we can make the best decisions possible. So please apply if you like. It's an amazing committee that has a lot of impact to the city. I don't know who's next, but here we go.
I don't get an introduction, I've introduced myself.
Yes.
That's Russell.
Hi. My name is Russell Lewis. Thank you, Michael. I am the vice chair of the zoning board. I've been on the zoning board for 12 years. I've been vice chair for 11. I also sit on the Environment and Shade Tree Commission. Barbara, thank you for explaining a lot of the sort of procedure and the applicant approach, because the planning board and the zoning board have great similarities, and I don't need to repeat many of the things that Barbara just said, but there are many, many similarities. I think I'm going to talk about one of the biggest misconceptions of the zoning board, and that is that we create zones, that we are the architects or the authors of the laws and the zones that are out there. That is not the case. The planning board and the city council create the laws. We as the zoning board, and our technical official name is the Zoning Board of Adjustments. We listen to applicants who have a pre-existing condition, who are looking for relief, looking for variances, and we listen to their evidence and we grant them relief based on criteria. We listen to basically two different types of applications, and sometimes they can be combined, but we basically have a use variance and then we have bulk variances. Those are, sort of commonly broken down into sort of construction and the way you're going to use your building. So, for an example, if you have a single-family home and it's 3 feet from your property line and you want to build an extension, and our current law says you have to be 5 feet from the property line, instant trip to the zoning board. Also, how you want to use your building. If you have a single-family home in a single-family zone and you want to turn that into a two-family, that's a different type of use. You would come before the zoning board, present your case, and we would then render a decision based on what the evidence is before us. We meet every other, the second and fourth Tuesday of the month, is that correct? Yes. Yes. Much of the zoning board is technical, and it takes homework and is boring and it's not exciting and it's not really a community board per se. We are bound by law and we have to measure everything based on what the law is and the evidence that is presented before us. So it's not the most exciting board, but it is certainly one that, as the planning board, is extremely important as to the direction and the goals that we want to meet as far as land use in Asbury Park. We don't have housing authority tonight, so then we're going to go to library board. Dolly?
Oh, you are housing authority.
Yeah.
Oh, we do have housing authority.
I called
Angie can give
our board.
Angie?
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Okay, I am Angeline Brown. I am what you call a housing resident, okay, commissioner, which is basically a new term, the resident being added on to a commissioner. I've served on the Asbury Park Housing Authority Board for the last 19 years. I've been to hell and back. And I'm back. I'm not going to get into the technicalities, really, of what we do. I just want to say that I love doing it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the residents of the city of Asbury Park, young, old. We have a variety. We have family sites. And also, I'm excited because being a redevelopment agency, we can go further in the city as far as building and doing different things, but we just needed to put the right person in place. I feel as though we have the right person in place now, and I'm excited to see where we're going to go from here. One of the things I also wanted to speak about, since I do have to speak here, is the fact that we have the Boston Way site, which will be opening up. I'm proud of that. I'm glad of that. I'm happy for it. I don't know, I guess if we should actually continue to call it the Boston Way site, that will have to be eventually voted on. But I just wanted to say, we have an opening right now. We have a 7-member board. We meet the second Monday of every month at 1003rd Avenue, which is the Robinson Towers. We meet at 6 o'clock. We do have 6 members now. We do need a 7th member. The 7th member must be picked by the governor. He's the governor's appointee. The other 6 members are chosen by the city council here in Asbury Park. They've done a great job with sending us over people that are great people. And like I said, once again, we have a great board. My thing is learning from my dad. Everybody should have food and everybody should have a place to live. So that's why I serve and that's why I've stayed so long. I think that's it. Thank you.
Next up, we have the library board. Dolly?
Well, this is a fun board. I've been a reader my whole life, and I was tickled pink when I was asked to be on the board after I gave my resume to Bob Stewart, and the mayor interviewed me, and I'm on the board. We set policy. And we ask people to help volunteer. We are a 9-member board. We meet once a month, 3rd Wednesday, 9 a.m., and it goes a good 2 hours. Today we got out at, yes, about 1 hour, because we had to go Christmas shopping. Anyway, we do, our latest is we have new Saturday hours, and that was profiled by people who get up earlier in the winter and they want to come to the library earlier. That may change in the spring and summer to accommodate the kids who want to sleep in. But that has changed. This Saturday we're having a holiday open house, and that has been organized by our new Friends of the Library. There's a very nice notice in the coaster. The Friends has 40 members, and please join. And what they've done already is having a holiday open house. They have great ideas. We have accomplished a great deal of work. There's still a lot to be done. We of course need funds to update our computer system. The Asbury Park Historical Society meets annually. We have music programs, artists displays in our beautiful back room with a fireplace. And I think it's a hidden treasure of Asbury Park. It's a beautiful space, and anybody who want to be on the board, submit an application, your resume. I don't know how much longer I'll last. I've already volunteered for 2 other things. But do join us. It's a splendid place to be. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Tom Pavinsky. I'm the chair of the Asbury Park Environmental Shade Tree Commission. I joined the commission in 2002, and I asked a question, and I left chairman. Apparently, they needed someone who could talk, and so that's what I've been doing for the last 19 years. Right now, we're a 7-member board. We have 2 associates. We have several people who are, rather 2 alternatives. We have several people who are associates who are always with us, who are always helping us out. Our mission specifically is to make sure that Asbury Park stays green. That's the whole purpose of the Environmental Shade Tree Commission, so that we have a good tree canopy, that we have a healthy tree canopy, that we have a continually good growing tree canopy. Most of the trees in town were planted probably somewhere along the lines of 50, 60 years ago, and lots of them are coming to the end of their lives. And so as a result, some are falling, some are just dying, and some have to be removed for other purposes. And our task, therefore, is to try to get as many trees as we can back into the ground so that we can keep the forest alive in Asbury Park. We're also part of what we call the Environmental Commission because our principal goal there is to keep the city pretty. We're responsible for all the gardens in town. We have 10 flower gardens throughout the town, all of which are flourishing. Right now, they're gone to bed, thank God. And, but they're all there, and this past year we planted the new one at the Civil War Memorial at the end of Grand and Cookman. Just yesterday, we put up a new Christmas tree lights at the Merchants Park on Cookman in Maine. So it's the first tree that's lit in Asbury Park this year. And we also redid our community farm, which is behind City Hall on Bangs Avenue, across the street from the post office. We were in production for about 7 years, and our beds began to break down. We have 24 raised beds, and the Porch Fest people came to us, the Homeowners Association, and gave us $5,000 to replace the beds. So we built the beds, we filled them with soil, and we did this all by ourselves. We didn't have any professional people helping us. We have a core of people who are spectacular. There are 25 people who every single Wednesday and every single Saturday come. And whether they're planting, or they're weeding, or they're raking, or they're doing something, they're always out there working. And we start way in March when we start oiling the geese eggs, and we don't end until it really gets so cold that you can't do anything out there. So it's a wonderful group of people, and everybody is always welcome to join us. If you'd like to be on our mailing list, it's a simple way. You can just simply look at Facebook or Nextdoor, and we always have announcements going out there saying what we're going to be doing, and where we're going to be doing it, and what time we're going to be doing it. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. We supply the tools, we supply the gloves, we supply coffee. Nancy very often supplies donuts, and we have a great fun doing all that kind of work. Some of the projects that we're going to be doing next year, one is for a group in town who's been for 100 years. It's the Rotary Club. They're celebrating their centenary next year, and we're going to create a specific garden that's going to be dedicated to the Rotary, which will be next year. And also, well, Asbury's become a doggy town and a cat town, and lots and lots of people have pets. And one of the things that we don't have is we don't have a garden for those pets that are no longer with us. You know, when you and I die, we're either going to heaven or we're going to hell, one or the other. If you're Catholic, maybe in between, I'm not too sure about that. But if you're a dog or a cat, the only place you can wind up is what they call the Rainbow Bridge. So next year we're creating a garden called the Rainbow Bridge. And we're going to invite anybody who's ever had a pet that's died, and they would like to donate a plant for that pet. We're not going to name the pets and so forth and all that, but we're going to create a garden where everybody can contribute to it by simply giving us a small donation, and we'll plant a plant for your pet. And that's going to be at the other side of Kennedy Park, on the south end of Kennedy Park, right across from the lake. So we have a whole bunch of things in plan for next year, and we meet on the third yeah. We used to meet on a Monday, but the city council, anyway, they preempted us. So we meet on 5 years ago. I'm never going to let her forget that. Anyway, so we meet on the third Tuesday of every month. We meet at 7 o'clock. We don't usually go longer than an hour and a half. Everybody's invited with all kinds of questions. And if you have any kind of difficulties in terms of trees or plants or shrubs or whatever, you just simply have to contact the Shade Tree Commission. You can usually get us through City Hall or through the DPW. And that's a group I must continue to always impress upon you, that if it weren't for the DPW, so much of what we have in town wouldn't be here. They are the greatest group of people. All I have to do is call them and say, we have a project, we need your help, can you give us this, can you give us that? They're right there. I called them on Monday to see if we could put up lights yesterday, on Wednesday, and they were there at 9 o'clock yesterday morning, and the lights are up at Merchants Park. So the DPW are a great bunch of guys. Sometimes you see them standing around smoking or having a drink of coffee, but they need to rest too. They need to relax too. They are the best workers that we have, and I'm really proud to say that the Shade Tree Commission and the DPW work terrifically. I have to stop talking because Amy has a sign that says time.
didn't want to follow you, Tom. He's such a great speaker, and I can't just ad-lib like that, so thank you. My name is Jeannie Tuhar, and I'm the Asbury Park DLA Commissioner on the DLA Commission. And in January, it will be my second year. No, I've already completed second year. It'll be 3 years starting in January. Just to give you a little background on the DLA Commission, we were chartered in 1974, and the commission is made up of 7 shoreline towns. They are Loch Arbor, Neptune, Deal, Interlaken, Allenhurst, Ocean, and Asbury Park. So each of the lakes have a commission, each of the towns have a commissioner that represents that town and an alternate. So there are 7 commissioners and 7 alternates. The mission of the DLA Commission is to provide leadership, guidance, resources to preserve and restore Deal Lake and its tributaries as healthy and create a healthy and stable ecosystem. In addition, we control the lake levels during heavy storms to the best of the Deal Lake Commission's ability with limited ocean tide controls. We also have experts on the commission. We're really fortunate to have these experts, an aquatic resource restoration and management scientist, a municipal engineer who specializes in stormwater management projects and environmental, and an attorney who specializes in municipal law and zoning. And they're really important to everything that we do. You see it happen if you come to the meetings. You'll see how vital and important the contributions that they make. The DLC functions in a variety of ways to protect and preserve the lake year-round. So we do lake testing. The DLC performs lake quality water testing on a regular basis with other groups like Monmouth University, Clean Ocean Action. Of course, Monmouth County Health Department monitors the lake as well. We monitor the lake's aquabiota, blue-green algae levels, invasive weeds, and we need volunteers to do the different types of testing that we do. So if you're a person that likes science or just likes getting out into the mud or into the water, we're always looking for volunteers that like to do it. We usually do it in good weather. So we control the regulation of the water flow. We are authorized via the state DEP. We have to apply for a permit every year in order to do that. And because, of course, they're interested in protecting the wildlife as well. And we regulate water flow at the flume when it becomes necessary. The DLC with the surrounding towns maintains the entranceways at the flume. If you've never seen it, the flume is at the far eastern end of Deal Lake. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. The DEP also monitors, we're kind of like watchdogs in that we monitor the stormwater management plans for the surrounding municipalities to be aware of ways that those plans might be impacting the lake. We pay attention to the maintenance of the manufactured treatment devices that are in the lakes that filter oil and debris that would otherwise end up in the lake. We monitor construction projects for stormwater management compliance, any activity that's going on, construction around bridges and streets, parking lots, anything that has an impact on Deal Lake. We pay attention to that. We notice it if we see there are things that go on all the time. There are some issues with the bridge recently, the new bridge going into Loch Arbor where a lot of debris was left behind. So we write letters and try to get those places cleaned up after we see that they weren't properly cleaned. So it's like I said, it's like a watchdog agency as well. We're involved in beautification projects with other groups in the community that help restore and beautify lakeshore areas and that would help to slow down runoff and erosion. The DLC writes grants, and we are continually applying for funding that's available to help promote the health of Deal Lake. In 2018, the DLC received 3 grants that will begin to implement this year. The most spectacular grant was from the EPA for Grant 319, And this grant was for $785,000, and it will affect Deal Lake, Sunset Lake, and Wesley Lake. Then we got a flume grant, which is to an enhanced electrification of the flume, so we'll be able to control it remotely rather than a person going out there in the rain and the storm and the winds, regulating the flow. The flow regulation is really important, and I won't get into all the details of it, but if you don't control it so that it's slow enough, you can really affect the fish upstream. They don't have enough time to get where they need to go as the lake is lowered. And there are a lot of things to take into consideration with lake lowering. We're going to have a presentation. We often do educational programs at our meetings that the public is invited to come and learn about the watershed and learn about aquabiota. It depends on what we're presenting, and we'll be doing something in the early spring on lake lowering and all that happens during that process. We also got a restoration grant for planting around the lake in Loch Arbor to restore the shoreline. We have cleanups twice a year. We always need volunteers for that. I'm sure you see the signs up, and so please come and help whenever you feel the urge. We do a lot of educating the public, distributing literature, presenting environmental programs, as I just said, and sometimes out at schools. Some of the commissioners go to schools and present programs about watersheds. We present the findings from our samplings and testing and try to advise the public about ways that they can help preserve and protect the lake and its wildlife. Over at the table there's a list of things that you can do that you might not be aware of, very simple things that have to do with leaves, for instance, this time of year, and how you wouldn't want to rake your leaves into the lake or let them run down the drains and so forth. The DLC meets every month for work sessions and public meetings. You can see our calendar, but basically it's like the third Thursday of the month, and we meet from 6. The work session starts at 6, the meeting begins at 7, and we go till about 8 or 8:30, depending on if we have a presentation that night. It might go longer. I encourage you to subscribe to our email list so you can get information. It's at the DLA, if you go to DLA Commission website, you'll be able to subscribe there. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. We post the flume status for those of you that are interested in that, concerned about, is the flume low, is it off, is it open, is it closed, is it partway open? You can always see that information. We have a Twitter feed, and that information's on our website as well. I think that's it. Oh, I just want to say too that I know this is for everyone, all the commissioners on the DLA Commission, that we're really grateful to the Asbury Park Department of Public Works that helps us with everything that we do, with the maintenance of the lake, around the lake, the cleanup efforts and everything. So they're really terrific. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Patrick Ryan, and I'm the chair of the Sunset Lake Commission. I am not Jamie Nadell, who is there, who is listed as the speaker. Jamie's the secretary. And those of you who are in Asbury know it, Sunset Lake for sure, and the jewel that it is and should be in the middle of town. How we got started was about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now, there was a Hurricane Sandy. And Sunset Lake was devastated and had years of algae growth and bloom afterwards. And we buttonholed Eileen Chapman at a meeting one day and said, Eileen, how come there's not a Sunset Lake Commission? And there became one. We are very much interested in revitalizing and restoring the gorgeous lake that is in the middle of town. It is the only one that is exclusively Asbury Park's. We don't share it with anybody else. It's our lake. Interestingly, it is also, by the way, Sunset Lake Park is the biggest green space in Asbury Park. It is painfully underused by the community. Sunset Lake Commission is charged and is working diligently to try and restore that lake to a healthy ecosystem and environmental place that will support animal and wildlife. We have an eagle, by the way, if you haven't found him, on Sunset Lake. We have turtles, we have frogs. We're trying to work with we have a community group, which is the Sunset Lake Conservancy, that is working with the school district to try and create a science project to work with the frogs in Sunset Lake. It is an enormously wonderful resource in town. It needs everybody's support. It needs your interest. It needs your enthusiasm. 4 times a year, the Commission partners with the Conservancy to do cleanups on the lake. We would like to do more. We probably should be doing at least 6 or 8 a year to really clean the area around. Please think about coming out and being involved. Please join the Commission. Please join the Conservancy. Please look for the PR for cleanups and our other community efforts, and please get involved and enjoy and love that lake that is so beautiful in town. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Gail Rosewater. I'm the chair of the Wesley Lake Commission. So much of what everyone said, I could just repeat, but I'm not going to. Basically, the Wesley Lake Commission is comprised of 50% Neptune and 50% Asbury Park. All of the commissioners are appointed by their respective councils, except one member who is kind of a member at large and is appointed by the commission itself. I've been on the commission for 4 years, and I've been the chair for 1.5 years. I was the secretary before that. I did attend Wesley Lake Commission meetings for quite a while before I submitted an application to be on the commission, and I really suggest that you do that so that you get a feel for the board of the commission that you're interested in being on. Each of the lake commissions has or is in the process of having some kind of a not-for-profit that they kind of work with. Ours is Citizens and Friends of Wesley Lake. They do have a Facebook page, and they do sponsor a lot of the cleanups and of the initiatives that the commission itself can't do, like fundraising. We do meet the 3rd Tuesday of every month, the same night as the Environmental Shade Tree Commission. So we have to meet in Neptune. We meet in the council chambers of Neptune. And again, our main concern, just like the other coastal lakes, is to keep the water clean. And I don't know if you realize that all of the water from a designated geographical area runs through those gutters and into the coastal lakes, all coastal lakes. And we really have to, be concerned with all coastal lakes and not divide them up into Wesley, Sunset, and Deal too much, because all of that water runs into the lakes. Some of it is filtered, some of it is not. And when the lakes get too full, the water can't flow, we flood. That is one of our issues. The other thing is that water then goes into our ocean. And that's what our mandate is to keep the water from going into the lakes dirty and from going into the ocean dirty. And I've got, over here at the table, there's posters up. You can take some of it. It describes our mission. It describes how you can help by not washing your car and having it go into the gutter, by not having your dog poop and not picking it up, because that, again, goes into the lakes and goes into the oceans. And that's really what we have to be concerned about. So our formal mission is stated over there on our Earth Day flyer, and I do have freebies for people to take that remind us how important it is to take care of all aspects of our environment. Thank you.
Hi everybody, microphone. Hi everyone, my name's Jen. I'm part of the Public Arts Commission. Thanks to Amy and Eileen, we become a commission, which means we have rules, which we're still having issues with, but we're getting there. That's one of the biggest things if you join one of these committees. There's all these arbitrary things that you will never understand, but you just accept because it's for the greater good. And so I'll keep it short and sweet. My job is to facilitate art and to make our town more colorful if I can. This commission is really important because if prior to it, it would be me calling everybody at the city saying, I want to paint this house polka dotted. Can we paint the cell phone towers? Can we do this? Can we do that? So the commission facilitates these kooky ideas that we all have about how we can make our environment here more colorful and interesting and inspirational, like the Shade Tree Commission. So basically, we are we've become from passive to what would be the opposite of passive? We're looking at, thank you. So we're in a visionary sort of phase of our commission. We have a lot of great ideas. We do need help with people that know how to raise money and throw events. Because right now it's a lot of creatives that like to sit and talk about the shades of red and sort of minutia that might drive the average person nuts. But it is a really lovely group. It's a lot of people that want to see public art in all forms, whether that be murals or sculptures, performance art, be part of our daily life here in Asbury Park. Thanks.
Good evening, my name is Ginny Otley, and I am currently chair of the Asbury Park TV Committee. We are a committee, we are not a commission. I've been chair of the committee since January. We have been in existence for 5 years. I've been on the committee for 4 years. We are growing slowly. In the last year, we have expanded our board a little bit. Our primary focus is to film and present events that happen in the city. We currently do, if you watch us at all, and I hope you do, and if you don't, please do, we film the council meetings, the planning board meetings, we do the zoning board meetings, and other things that happen within the city. We do the St. Patrick's Day Parade, we do trunk or treat, but we also really would welcome input from other committees in town and from private citizens who are interested in putting some small films together. We had a gentleman last year that submitted 2 films to the New York Emmys and actually came home with 2 Emmys. So we're very proud of that, and we'd like to see that expanded on a little bit more. During the upcoming year, we are going to be putting live streaming in place so that in addition to watching us on FiOS, Channel 30 and Optimum Channel 77, we know everybody doesn't have access to cable. You'll be able to see us live on the internet, and you'll also be able to pick us up on your Roku and Apple TV devices. So that's a big, big thing for us. We are always looking for volunteers. We have a small staff and a group of volunteers that do help us film, like Andy is filming this event tonight. Thank you, Andy. But we're always looking for more people. Our meetings are on the 3rd Wednesday of every month. We invite you to come and sit and see what we're all about. And I think that is it. I was told 60 seconds, so.
Hi everyone, my name is Phyllis Mafucci and I am the secretary of the business committee. I've been on the committee for about 2 years since its inception. Our mission as an alliance is to help support strategies that assist in the establishment and sustainability of all aspects of Asbury Park commerce. One of the first things, I have to do this so I'm not standing on my tiptoes. One of the first things that we did as a committee was we put together this brochure that is like a map. It's a map for people who want to start a business in Asbury Park, and it basically tells you step by step how to go about opening of a business. It also gives you phone numbers, contact information, and we found this to be really helpful for people who want to start a business in Asbury Park, and it tells you what to do in what steps in the order to take it. Another thing that we did was we ran a survey with the businesses in town and to find out what the most concerns were for business owners. And the top 3 things that came up were parking, cleanliness, and getting consumers to Asbury Park in the off-season. So we really can't do much about parking, but we did actually get new garbage cans for most of the area of the downtown Cookman Avenue, and I think Bangs Avenue as well. So, and we are putting a subcommittee together to try and come up with ideas for events to run in the off-season so that we're bringing consumers here in the heat dead of the winter, January, February. Another thing that we talked about is an app for the city so that all of the businesses together could key into that. They could put in their hours, their events, their specials if they're a retail store, so that you could go to one location and find everything that you need for Asbury Park. We're still working on that. We haven't really found something that exactly fits perfectly for Asbury Park, but that is one of our goals for 2019. We meet on, it seems that it's the 3rd week of the month for every committee, but we are the 3rd Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We meet in the city manager's conference room. And we start at 10 and we finish pretty much at 11 because everybody has businesses to run. So if you have a business and you would like to improve the climate of Asbury Park's business, please join us because I believe we do have an opening.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I am Irina Gaspargan, and it's so great to see so many people here. I'm very excited that so many of you want to be involved in the city. What I do is represent the city's green team. The green team is relatively new, and it's a little different from the other commissions and committees in town in that we have a focus on the actions and goal of the green team is basically to get sustainable New Jersey certification. So I don't know if anyone is aware, but last year the city of Asbury Park was certified as in the bronze sustainable Jersey. And this year, we were certified as silver certification, which is a huge deal because we were the first in Monmouth County. Some of the programs and actions that we work on are things like bringing to awareness the plastic bag ban that was recently passed in the city. Trying to make the residents and visitors more aware of recycling programs, anything that has to do with the sustainability and environmental concerns of the city. The Sustainable Jersey program is a wonderful program that provides a general outline of what the municipality has to do in order to become certified. And it's an all-encompassing outline that includes almost every aspect of town, including public works, the Environmental Shade Tree Commission, construction department, planning, purchasing, and so on. I can go on forever. But everything that we do as residents and as a municipality affects the environment. And on that note, if the future of our planet and if the future of our city is important to any of you, I highly encourage you to come join our green team and help us address these issues. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I want to just echo what everyone else said, and I'm glad to see such a great turnout tonight. My name is Mike Manzella. I am the Transportation Director for the city, and I also preside over the most popular committee in the city, the Parking Committee. The full name of the Parking Committee is actually the Parking Advisory Committee. So what we do, the goal of the committee, is to listen to resident, employee, and visitor feedback, and also use data analysis to recommend to myself and the City Council policies, regulations, ordinances that should be put into place for parking. So we oversee everything from metered parking to permit parking to time-limited parking, such as 15-minute or 2-hour parking, and the street sweeping regulations that are out there, alternate side. So our committee meets at 5:30 p.m. the first Wednesday of every month in the City Manager's Conference Room. Anyone is welcome to attend, obviously, and bring forward an issue or a suggestion that they have in terms of parking. We usually start the meeting with a public session for anyone who wants to talk about any concerns they have, and then we go into business, and the public is welcome to stay for that portion as well. On the committee is the mayor, the head of the enforcement, Gene Dello, and myself, and then a number of residents from all over the city. We are definitely looking for feedback from folks who have ideas about parking. Mostly we like to hear positive suggestions, constructive suggestions, but we'll take the negative too. And you can actually now, if you go on the city's website under the city committees tab and find the parking committee, there's actually an online request form. So if you have a specific issue that you would like the committee to be addressed, we'll put it on the agenda if you just submit that form on the website. I think that's all I have to say. So if you have any questions, feel free to see us at the table.
Hello everybody, I'm Melanie Chungolo-Nestor. I'm a member of the Quality of Life Committee. I've been a part of the Quality of Life Committee for about 2 years now, and even though I'm up here speaking for the committee, there's several people here representing as well. Rita, Norman, Trudy, and our esteemed leader, Yvonne. Our mission is to identify critical code violations, housing violations, cultural and recreational issues that face all of the city's residents, and work with everybody to create positive solutions that are inclusive and make a better environment for everybody involved. We want Asbury Park to continue to be a diverse and thriving community for everyone to work and live and play. And we like to consider ourselves advocates for the things that you care about and the things that affect you on a daily basis. I decided to join the Quality of Life Committee because in my area of Asbury Park, there's a lot of litter that was happening around the corner from the 7-Eleven. I don't know if it's going to be a wind tunnel and just bags are flying out of people's hands, but about the same time that I started looking for solutions, the Quality of Life Committee installed trash cans along the entire block. And it made me realize that I wasn't the only one that was concerned about this and helped validate, my concerns. And so in doing that, we're looking for members to join us in 2019 to become better known, entity to the citizens of Asbury Park, to work both visibly and invisibly to help make your daily life better in the city.
Hi, everybody. I'm Esther Pekarski. I'm the director and owner of Alphabet's Preschool Center in Asbury Park for the past 36 years, and I'm a current member of the Asbury Park Recreation Committee. I've served on this committee for many years. I can't remember how many. It's been a long time. In order to keep to the 2-minute, 1-minute, whatever time limit I was told to stick to, I needed to write my thoughts down to get them all in, because the Recreation Committee is a hard-working, hands-on, and very productive committee, and I'm very proud to be a member of it. Recreation, as defined by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is refreshment of strength and spirit after work, also a means of refreshment or diversion. Wikipedia defines it as an activity of leisure, leisure being discretionary time. Recreational activities are often done for enjoyment, amusement, or pleasure, and considered to be fun. Recreation is so often thought of as sports or for children only, but not by our Recreation Committee. We have a broader outlook, one that encompasses the definition of recreation, which is anything that is done for fun and enjoyment by anyone and everyone. The purpose of the Recreation Committee, as defined by the City of Asbury Park, is to provide consultative and advisory assistance to the mayor and council regarding recreation issues for the youth of the city as well as all residents of the community. Members are appointed by the mayor and council for a one-year term. Once a month, committee meetings are held in the city manager's office on Tuesdays from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock. When we are working on special events, additional meetings are added on to plan for their success. Attendance at these monthly meetings by the committee members is essential to the success of the work of this committee. Since the meetings are generally spirited in nature, open to all opinions, and meaningful to all of the committee members, participation is very strong. The committee currently consists of a group of wonderful, creative, hardworking people who represent the diversity of Asbury Park in both their backgrounds and in their experience with the City of Asbury Park and its diverse needs. The committee is innovatively chaired by Councilman Jesse Kendall. The committee collaborates with many other existing city agencies, the library, the school district, Board of Education, the senior center, and the Chamber of Commerce, to name a few. The committee strives to enhance the existing services as well as to avoid duplication of these services provided by those agencies. Under the direction of our chairman, Councilman Kendall, the committee has been exploring new ideas and opportunities for designing new activities that will meet the many diverse needs of our community. We want to create activities that reflect this community in as many areas as possible, among them preschool, school age, teens, adults, seniors, specialized recreation to meet special needs, families. Some of the new events that this Recreation Committee has created in the last 2 years are a week of recreational activities for preschool and school-age children during spring break period when the school district was closed, a phenomenal adult fashion show, a holiday party to thank community volunteers, a safe trunk or treat Halloween trick-or-treat event, a motivational self-esteem building mentoring program for our youth run by member Angela Bass Anderson. These are in addition to the summer camp recreation program that the city runs, as well as the Rodeo for Recreation event that helps to financially fund that amazing program. Applicants for this committee need to be able to attend committee meetings, be respectful and caring listeners, be willing to share ideas, be able to live with other people's ideas winning out over your own, have a healthy understanding of the many different needs of this wonderful community, and be able to give the time it takes to turn the ideas and dreams into real recreational opportunities and events. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Wendy Glassman. I'm a member of the Mayor's Wellness Committee. The Mayor's Wellness Committee was formed 2 years ago. We're still in our infancy and finding our way. We're championed by the mayor. The chairman of our committee is Michael Manzella. I don't think he has as much fun as on the parking committee, but and what we do really is think of ways to make the community's lives better, either physically, emotionally, spiritually. Our mission is to promote and champion healthy and active living for all the people who live, learn, work and play in Asbury Park. We have a very broad definition of what wellness is. It's physical wellness, emotional wellness, it's healthy eating, it's an active lifestyle. We have 9 members of the committee, aside from 2 city employees. It's 5 community partners in the health field, and people like me who just have a passion and desire for a healthy and active living and passing that on to other people who may not have the background to know how to get there. We both initiate activities and find other partners in the community who are sponsoring activities and partner with them to promote those activities. In the past 2 years, we've held Fitness in the Park, which was a joint effort between the Wellness Committee and the Sunset Lake Park Conservancy. This fall, we did a Harvest Health Fair here. All winter, we did Aqua Zumba classes over at the Boys and Girls Club. We've been involved in the bike and walk to school programs that Easy Ride was involved in. We've done CPR training in council chambers. We've sponsored teams on the American Heart Association Health Walk. We did calisthenics at the Boys and Girls Club. We participated in the Surf Rider Family Day, teaching kids to surf and play volleyball. And we've been involved in several of the healthy store initiatives, trying to bring healthier snacks to our corner stores where a lot of people go for their food sources. So every Saturday, the first Saturday of every month, we plan at least one activity. We meet on the second Friday of every month at City Hall. Everyone and anyone is welcome to attend those meetings, to come and offer ideas. We really welcome any ideas that anyone has that will help improve the health and wellness of the people who live here.
Good evening, ladies and gents. My name is Michael Casey. I'm a sergeant with the Asbury Park Police. I've been there for about 14 years. One of my functions is community relations. I oversee a group of concerned citizens called Citizens on Patrol. When this flyer came across my desk, I didn't know if it would have applied to us, but one of the members called me and said he confirmed it, that it'd be a great idea. We're not a committee or a commission. Thank you. We're a group. So what is Citizens on Patrol? Citizens on Patrol is it's a group of concerned citizens who care about their community. To start off, we would do a quick background check on people who are interested. Some of their duties include, let me back up. We would do we call it a little academy. It's about 10 to 12 weeks. We cover different topics each week. We'll cover a division within the police department. Once you graduate from the academy, you're given a uniform. If I didn't mention, I'm sorry, this is Jackson St. Louis. He's one of our members. He's very proud of the group, as you can see. I'm sorry if I didn't mention either. Arthur Schlossbach, Jim Henry in the back, and Rita Williams are also members. So, Citizens on Patrol, they're not armed. There's no arrest powers. They're just concerned citizens. We ask that you be at least 18 years of age, a citizen or, a resident, of Asbury Park, or a business owner. Or you could even work here as well. Our membership has kind of declined over the years, so what they do is they assist with an extra set of eyes and ears for the police department. You might have seen them around town. Interfaith Neighbors, a few years back, saw what a valuable organization they were. They actually applied for a grant, and they bought them a brand new 2015 Ford Explorer. And the police department had it decaled up for them and put a light bar. And whenever a few of them get some free time, they jump in the car, they call out that they're on duty to the desk. We know that they're out there, and they're in places where the police aren't at times. We can't be everywhere. So they'll maybe pick up on a problem, a quality of life issue or something like that. They'll note it on a report, and they'll turn it into us, and we'll address the issue. If you are interested in something like that, I do have applications. Please see me. If not, and you want to reach out to me, my email is michael.casey@cityofasburypark, and I would love to speak to anybody about the unit. Okay? Thank you for your time.
You will follow. So I just want to give give everybody a hand. Everybody did such a great job explaining. They meet at different times of the day and the evening, so it should be convenient for all of you at some point. I encourage you, as you can see, there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of volunteers needed to do this work. It's a great opportunity to be involved with the community. And each of these commissions, committees, and organizations have representatives at the tables. So we encourage you to go over and talk to them. We encourage you to attend meetings and to get involved. And now it's Amy's turn.
So I just want to do two quick things. I'm going to echo a little of what Gail said and piggyback on Jen, because I am also on the Art Commission, and that can be one of the spicier committees. Artists don't love municipal law. And so I told two friends to go to the Art Commission meeting, because I thought they would be great on it, and both of them were like, hell to the no, Amy. So while we want you to talk to the committees and commissions here, I really encourage you in December and in January to go out to the meeting that you think that you might be interested in, and just make sure it's a good match, because you know what we don't love is putting people on, they get on and they hate it. So I just really wanted to make that point. And then there's two other quick points I want to make. The people who spoke tonight who took more time out of their day to, or their month to come out, and I don't know if you heard this throughout the process, but the number of city staff that are on these committees and helping these committees, Mike, Sonia, I mean DPW with environmental, it's astronomical the amount of time that city staff spends helping and making sure that these committees are successful. So I just want to give one big round of applause and thank you for everybody. Out today. We had such a great crowd. You know, Eileen and I did some door-to-door on this because we wanted to make sure that we got a lot of people out. It's really awesome to see so many people out today. So